The pursuit of passionate love is one of the strongest motivations in human beings. The need to feel loved is so important that when people feel they have lost a source of love, the pain can be almost unbearable. One can lose passion in a number of ways, for instance, when one's partner falls in love with somebody else. But that is not the only way to lose love. You can experience a loss of love when your partner has not even left, sometimes even when they are still sleeping beside you. The passion is gone and the lovers grieve over its loss. Why does this happen? When a couple is unhappy, or when they feel they are just going through the motions, there is usually something in the relationship that is restricting self-expression and passion. In this film, Working with Husband and Wife, Robbins will resolve one of the most common problems that prevent couples from living the life they deserve. The film also offers practical strategies for improving your communication with your loved ones. Most of us during the course of our lives will experience in some form the loss of love and the loss of passion. If you were ever caught in a situation where you were damned if you do, damned if you don't, you will learn a great deal from this film. Our story begins in the Gold Coast of Australia during a week-long Anthony Robbins Leadership Conference of about 2,000 participants. Those attending are Fortune 500 executives, college students, entrepreneurs, homemakers, and professional people from all over the world. During this conference, Robbins typically calls upon those participants who are experiencing the most serious life challenges. In this case, he asked for those who were experiencing suicidal thoughts. As Robbins deals with someone who is considering suicide, he illustrates practical methods anybody can use to resolve conflicts, problems, and restrictions. In this case, Robbins calls on a young Australian woman, Karen, who is so unhappy in her marriage that she has attempted suicide to get out of it. Robbins will begin by assessing Karen's situation. He will then call the husband who lives nearby, asking him to come to the conference in order to resolve their problem.
So why don't we start with this lady right here? Give her a hand, she's suicidal. Give her a hand, she's suicidal, for God's sakes, give her a hand. What's your name? Where are you from?
Karen from the Gold Coast.
Karen, okay, Karen. You're from the Gold Coast and you're suicidal? There's no hope for you.
Robbins often uses colorful language in order to manage the tone of the conversation. In this case, he started off with a joke, getting Karen to laugh before she starts describing her problem. Since Karen is in the back of the room, Robbins is watching the details of her expression on a television monitor placed at his feet.
So you're suicidal, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I get to that point when people are putting me down and I don't feel like I'm good enough.
So people put you down. What do I got to say to put you down?
Robbins' first step is to try to assess the problem by asking the participant to be more specific about the triggers that cause the suicidal thoughts.
What has somebody got to say to get you to be suicidal?
It's just a point I get to when I feel really desperate.
Right. What makes you feel that desperate? What do you got to focus on or hear or see or think about?
I feel like there's no hope for myself. I feel like everybody hates me.
Everybody hates you. Okay. And when are you planning to do it with a razor blade or a knife? Thought about a gun or sleeping pills?
Pills.
Pills. Oh, so you're a wuss.
Robbins inquires about the method of suicide in order to find out how much she has actually planned. He calls her a wuss in order to join with her in an affectionate way that makes her laugh. At this point, he discovers that provoking her is a way of bringing her to a happier state.
Are you married?
Yep.
Do you love your husband?
I don't know anymore.
Does he love you?
Yes.
Why don't you know if you love him or not?
I don't feel like he's the same person he was when I met him.
Is he abusive to you?
No, but my first husband was.
I see. So this one isn't?
No.
So how's he different?
He's totally the opposite, to the point where I'm the one that's trying to take control.
But are you telling him what to do because you like to tell him what to do because it makes you feel certain, or are you telling him what to do because there's no other choice?
Because it makes me feel certain.
Yeah. And does it make you feel significant to tell him what to do?
At the time I'm doing it, yes, but afterwards I feel bad.
Yes.
Karen has just presented her central problem. She is unhappy with her husband because he is not who he used to be. In her worldview, there has been a reversal of power. She implies that he should be making the decisions, and she is unhappy feeling forced to make decisions for him. She describes him as the opposite of her first husband, who was abusive. Now Robbins inquires about her purpose in life in order to discover what motivates her.
So what's life about? What's life supposed to be about? Life is about what? Why are we here?
To be happy?
I see. So since you're a total failure at that, you might as well not be here?
Yep.
I get it. What has to happen for you to be happy?
I don't know.
So if you don't know what it takes to be happy, and that's what you have to be here, then maybe you're not happy just because you don't have rules to be happy. Would you like to hear some rules? Because I've met so many people around the world that have different rules for happiness. Would you like to hear some?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's one sampling. A man who came to a seminar, very, very successful man from the United States in business and financial terms, very famous person, very well-loved person by a large number of people, primarily because he's also a philanthropist. He's one of those people always, even though he's so busy, he always finds time for things. In his community, which is a very large community, he is very respected. He's an athlete as well. He runs marathons, even though he runs these businesses. He makes about $4 million a year U.S. He has 5 children. His wife loves him dearly. I asked him, "Are you successful?" as a joke, and he said no. And when he said no, at first I thought he was tongue-in-cheek kidding, and then I realized he was serious. So I asked him this question: what has to happen in order for you to feel successful? He said, a lot of things. I said, that's obvious. What has to happen for you to feel successful? You know what he said? He said, well, I have to never get frustrated with my kids. And he's got 5 of them. What's his chance of getting frustrated? Is the law of averages going to be frustrated with one of them? Yes or no? You better believe it. I said, okay, what else has to happen for you to feel successful? He says, I have to have 10% body fat, and I'm at 11. True story. What else has to happen for you to be successful? He said, I have to make at least $5 million a year. And he makes $4 million. He actually makes usually $6 million because he gets bonuses, but bonuses don't count. Because it's only the money that's absolutely guaranteed that counts. What else has to happen? He says, well, I have to be in a position that I don't travel so much, and his business requires it. So as you listen to this whole thing, here's a man who should be totally feeling successful, but most people stand up to feels miserable. Now, I asked another man in the room who everybody liked because he was the life of the party. He's just a crazy mofo. And I said, sir, I said, are you successful? And he stood up and he said, of course. And I said, what has to happen for you to know you're successful? He says, I have to wake up, stand up, look down, and see that I'm above ground. He said, every day above ground is a great day. So that was his rule. Now, which of these 2 men do you think was happier, the first one or the second one? Which one felt more successful, the first one or the second one? So you see, how you feel has no basis in reality, has the basis in your rules. And what you're telling me is you don't have any rules for happiness. So you don't know when to be happy.
Robbins believes that it is essential to have a base level of happiness in order to cope with and overcome the many stresses of life. In order to have a healthy and happy quality of life, it is essential to know what makes you happy and to specify ways in which to feel happy each day.
Because he doesn't do anything to make me feel that way.
And why do you think he doesn't do anything to make you feel that way? Is that why you're depressed, by the way, truthfully? Isn't that the real reason? That you feel like you're trapped in a relationship where you're so unhappy
Yes.
and you don't have the guts to get out? Or you're afraid you make a mistake to get out?
I'm afraid I'll do the wrong thing. I don't know what's the right thing to do anymore. I've already been through one divorce and I don't want to muck up this one if it's the wrong thing.
So the bottom line is you don't want the identity of having been divorced twice. So you'd rather stay miserable where you are.
I don't care about being divorced twice. I care about hurting him if it's the wrong thing.
But you're already hurting him.
Yeah.
If you're unhappy, trust me. Men, if the woman you're with is totally miserable and unhappy, are you happy? Are you hurting if every day she's unhappy? Are you hurting inside? Yes or no, men? Give her an answer. So you're already hurting him. So if that's it, maybe you should put him out of his misery.
When faced with an obstacle, it is important to define it as a problem that can be solved or a question that can be answered. Robbins has reframed Karen's problem as a decision that she has not been able to make in relation to her marriage. She is not happy with her husband, yet she doesn't want to feel responsible for hurting him by leaving him. Robbins is looking for ways to move her to take action that will make her happy instead of killing herself. He will now show her that by remaining indecisive and unhappy, she is being dishonest, as well as hurting him and herself.
Do you present yourself as the happy wife to everybody else?
Most people, yeah.
Oh, so not to everybody.
I have a close friend that knows better.
Well, actually, there's about 1,100 Aussies
Yes,
here.
what?
Right now, too. The word's going to spread. There's a network here like you can't believe.
But generally, yes, I do pretend otherwise.
So you pretend that you're happy? Mm-hmm. Yes, I see. Could you do that for me right now? Show me the pretend I'm happy thing. I'm not depressed, I'm happy. I'm actually happy.
Yeah.
Don't be looking for an Academy Award, okay? Do you really think people buy this shit? Well, okay, so everybody knows you're unhappy already then, don't they? Not just your friends, other people know too, don't they? Even if they don't say anything. Can you see it in their eyes that they know you're unhappy? Okay, so why are you acting like something you're not when everybody knows the truth?
Karen has been coping with her unhappiness by pretending to others that she is not unhappy, thinking that they would therefore think well of her. This way of coping is not helpful. Robbins makes this clear by reversing her logic, stating that people think poorly about her because she's pretending to be happy instead of doing something to resolve her situation.
What does your husband think about your state? You guys talk about this at all?
We never talk about anything.
Does he know you're depressed?
Yes.
Yes. Do you tell him that you're depressed?
I didn't tell him that. One of your people told him that.
Is he here?
No.
Oh. One of my people? I have people now?
Yes.
Who are my people?
One of the people that rang me after UPW.
Oh, I see. So one of those people told him that you're depressed. Does he know you're suicidal?
Yes, they told him.
You kind of smiled at that moment. You just did it again. Isn't that interesting?
Robbins has identified an incongruity between Karen's verbal and nonverbal communication. As she talks about her husband's worry about her suicide attempt, which is evidently sad, she smiles. This could be a sign that her suicidal behavior has been a source of power over her husband.
Like, nothing else, I'll kill myself, then I'll get his attention. Of course, you really aren't suicidal, because if you're suicidal, you've already killed yourself, because it's not a complex task. Especially if you're going to do it with pills. You could have done that easily. All you do is pop them, there you are, and you're dead. Now you live on the other side, and you get to have pain like you never thought of.
But that's what scares me because I have tried.
You have tried. Oh, come on.
No, I
Tried? How hard is it to kill yourself? Don't tell me you're that stupid.
No, I did take them.
You did take what?
The pills.
How many?
About 3 bottles.
And what happened?
While I was unconscious, I got up and I was thrashing all over the house and somebody heard me.
Shit. I wonder why, even you had 3 bottles of pills, you would get up and thrash around.
I don't know. I don't remember it at all.
I know. Is it possible there's a deeper part of you that knows the truth that you need to stay alive and that that's not your real intent, and so it found a way to overpower 3 bottles of pills and still make sure you got help? So clearly it's not that you tried. Clearly there's no desire in you to commit suicide. There is a deep desire to get some attention, isn't there?
Yeah.
You're settling for attention because you don't feel the love.
Yeah.
Karen tells the story of her suicide attempt in order to convince Robbins of its seriousness. Instead of acknowledging her wish to die, Robbins recasts the story from the point of view of her desire to live. She thrashed around even while unconscious, and so expressed her wish to live, which Robbins elevates above her desire to die. By saying that what she really wants is attention, he defines a problem that can be solved. Once she admits the need for attention, he carries the logic a step further, saying that she's willing to settle for attention when what she really wants is love. Immediately, he takes the conversation back to her husband.
So why didn't your husband come here?
Oh, we couldn't afford for us both to come.
Okay. So he sent you,
Yep.
hoping you'd get fixed.
Yep.
So I'm supposed to fix you, and then you can go back and he can go about doing his business and stuff.
Yep.
What if I fix you and you leave him?
Well, I've told him that might happen.
Oh. So if suicide doesn't get him, threatening to leave him might. Boy, we got all kinds of weapons, don't we? Oh, look at that big smile. Yeah. For somebody who's not very gutsy, we got some pretty good-sized knives.
Yeah.
Karen stood up like someone who had no options and therefore had to kill herself. Now she acknowledges her sources of power and the option of leaving her husband. However, she is still reluctant to make a decision. It is possible that she is afraid of the consequences for her husband. Robbins will ask about that now.
So what did he say when you said he might get fixed and leave him?
He's upset. He doesn't know what to do.
Let's get him on the phone. Do you want him to come down here? Do you want him on the phone?
Yeah, that's fine. I want to sort it out with him. I need to sort this out.
If you'd already sorted all this out with him, what would you be doing? Staying or leaving? Tell me the truth. You know the answer. Don't tell me you don't know. If you'd gone through and you sorted all this out, and we had all this discussion, and it was all done, what would you be doing? Would you be staying or leaving, honestly?
I still don't know whether to leave him or not.
Say again?
I still don't know whether to leave him or not.
So you know that you would be willing to try to commit suicide but not leave him?
Robin suspects that Karen really wants to leave her husband. He asks her to make a guess about what she will decide at the end of the conversation, but she is unable to guess. Robbins alleviates her dilemma by offering ways she could leave the marriage without feeling that she is hurting her husband by doing so.
Right now, you have no intimacy with him, I assume. You guys don't make love, do you? When's the last time you guys made love?
I can't remember. A long time ago.
Well, then